Welcome to Christian Religious Education lessons presented to you by MN Arts Africa, taught by Teacher Sarah. Kindly remember to subscribe so that you can get a notification once we put up new content. You are welcome.
Hello Lana, this is your teacher Sarah. We are talking about the call of Moses, and this is lesson 15. We want to look at the background to the call of Moses. God appeared to Abraham and he told him to move from his homeland to the foreign land, which Abraham did. And when Abraham showed the faith in God, God then gave him various promises. And among these promises, he told him that his descendants will find themselves in a foreign land for 400 years, and they will be cruelly treated or harshly treated, and they will come out of that land with a lot of wealth. So later on, the descendants of Abraham found themselves in Egypt when there was drought and there was famine, and later on they came to discover that there was food in Egypt. They followed to go and buy the food, but later the brother whom they had sold welcomed them and gave them some part to live in Egypt. He was a friend to the king, and so the king gave them one of the most fertile places, Goshen, where they settled. So the children of Israel settled in Egypt, that is in a foreign land, and they stayed there. So when the word of God came to pass, when they had stayed in a foreign land for 400 years, they had multiplied in number. God had to honor his promises, and they had to prepare them to come out of that foreign land. He had said they will be badly treated and they will come out with a lot of wealth. So he had to prepare somebody to go and deliver them from the foreign land. And so the parents of Moses, when they had gotten Moses, they had other children. It was the time when the Israelites were being treated harshly in Egypt. Maybe we can ask ourselves, why were they being treated harshly? It's because they had stayed in Egypt for a long time, and God's favor was upon them. God blessed them. They multiplied exceedingly. Their number became more. Their animals were doing well, and God was with them. And the king who had welcomed them through Joseph had died. So the king who was in power did not have any history about the goodness of these people. So he felt threatened, and he said that these people, they might rise up against us, or they might join with our enemies and they rise up against us. So we need to check on their numbers. So they started giving them hard labor. And they found out that the Israelites, even with the hard labor and slavery, they could still be able to give birth to many children. And so the king had to get a new way of controlling the population of the Israelites. And so he resulted in, he thought of killing the baby boys. He could not be able to kill the big ones who were walking and running in the field. So they decided that whenever the Jewish women were giving birth, the Egyptian midwives could be there to check and see which baby is born. If it is a baby boy, then he is killed at birth. If it's a baby girl, it is left to grow. So the king authorized the nurses, the midwives, to do that kind of work. But the midwives feared God, so they did not kill the baby boys. So the king called them and asked them, why am I saying that the Israelites are multiplying? And I told you to check on the way they are giving birth. Then the nurses or the midwives told the king that these Israelite women, they are very strong. They don't need midwives when they are giving birth. They just give birth alone. So we are not able to reach there at the point or at the time when they are giving birth. So now what the king did is that he authorized his men to move around and kill the Israelite infants, baby boys. So at this time, the parents of Moses gave birth to Moses. They were from the house of Aaron. And when they gave birth to Moses, they looked at Moses and they saw that he was goodly looking. He was a very beautiful baby boy, a bouncing baby boy. And they felt that he should not die. So the mother hid Moses for 3 months in the house. You can imagine hiding a baby. What does the baby know? When it is hungry, it will cry. When it feels like entertaining anybody, it will even laugh, it will cry. You know, the babies they are just innocent. But the mother was able to hide him for 3 months without being known. Then when she could not be able to hide him any longer, she took the baby to the river and put him in a basket of reeds, and put him on the river. And when the daughter of the king, River Nile, when the daughter of the king could come to the river, she could find the baby boy there. And now the mother went home, but he left the sister to the baby to take care of this baby. So they could take care, she could watch over Miriam. The sister was called Miriam. She could watch over the boy and see anybody or any danger that could come to him. And at one time, Miriam witnessed the daughter of the king coming to the river to come and bathe and even and relax. You know, this is leisurely life. This is a princess. And when she came, she was able to notice the reed where the baby was put, and then she said, there must be something that is floating on water. Then she ran there. When she ran there, she found the basket, and she opened the basket. Oh, there was a bouncing baby boy inside. And the baby boy, when the basket was opened, they started crying. This touched the heart of the daughter of the king. She said, this must be one of the Jewish babies who has been hidden here. So this must be my son. So she drew him from the river, and she gave him the name Moses, and she took him to the palace to his father, and she told the father, this is my son. So at that time, when she was picking him from the basket, Miriam ran very fast and came and asked, can I go and look for a Jewish woman, an Israelite woman, to come and take care of you, help you take care of this baby boy? Then he said, yes. You know, that is the Spirit of God which was working. This girl ran and went to her mother, who was also the mother of the baby boy, who was Moses. Said, Mama, I have convinced the daughter of the king, just go and take care of him. So the mother was brought to the princess, and they negotiated, and the princess requested her, of course she pretended not to be the mother, can you go and take care of my son, and I will pay you. When he's big enough, then you can leave him and you go. And then, yes, and the mother accepted, and she took the boy and took care of him. And later, the boy grew, and he was brought now to the home of the queen, I mean the princess, the king, the palace. And there Moses now grew up as a son of the daughter of the king. And the mother, during that time when she was taking care of Moses, she ensured that she told him that Moses was a Jew and not an Egyptian. And she told him that the king, they were mistreating his people. And so when Moses was big enough, he was taken by the daughter of the king to the palace. Of course, it was according to the plan of God Moses had already known his people. He had already known his background. He through his mother. He now went to the home of the palace, the palace where he learned the Egyptian language. He also learned about literacy, how to learn. He learned about numbers. He learned about leadership skills as the son of the king. He learned about the secrets of the Egyptian government. And when it was enough, now God had to make him to get out of the palace. And so one day when he was walking around, he saw an Egyptian and an Israelite fighting, and he helped the Israelite who was being beaten, and he killed the Egyptian and hid him under sand. And he released the Israelite and told him to go. And then the following day when he was having a walk, he found two Israelites fighting. And he asked them, why are you fighting and you are brothers and you are here slaves? Then the one who was on the wrong asked Moses, do you want to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? Moses realized that he had been known. So what he did, he could not go back to the palace, to the king, because the king was an Egyptian. He ran away into the desert, and he went and sat near a well. Then later in the day, he saw the daughters of the priest of Midian come with their flock to come and water the animals. The daughters were being troubled by the men who were there. They would disturb them, they could delay them to water the animals, they could chase them. And Moses was a strong man. He went and chased those men who were disturbing the daughters of the king. So the daughters of the priest, the daughters of the priest of Midian went home very early, and the father asked them, how come today you have come so early? No, we found somebody who helped us to water the animals. And so what happened is that he told them, go and invite him to come and eat with us. He has been so kind to us. So the daughters ran and they went and invited Moses. And Moses came and stayed with the priest. Later the priest gave him his daughter for marriage, and they gave birth to children, baby boys. That one was to make Moses responsible, have a family and have responsibility. And so Moses grew up in the palace as the son of the king, and he had also been taken care of by his mother, you see. So all this is God working. And so now Moses is a big man. He is in the home at Midian, and he's taking care of the animals there of his father-in-law, because the father-in-law did not have any son. So when he was taking care of the animals, one day he took the animals out to Mount Sinai. When he was there on Mount Sinai, he saw a strange happening. He saw the bush burning. He was with the sheep of his father-in-law alone, and he was having a rod in his hand, and he was having a staff. The staff is to guide the animals. The rod is to chase the enemy, which may come to attack the animals. So he saw a strange happening. He saw a bush burning. And when he looked keenly, he saw that the bush was not consumed. So he said, this must be very strange. He now started walking close to have a closer look and analyze and see what was happening. Now when he was moving nearer, the voice of the Lord through the angel spoke from the middle of the burning bush and called out, Moses, Moses. And he told him, remove your shoes, for the ground on which you are standing is holy, and don't move any nearer. And Moses fell down on his face, and he removed his sandals. And now God told him that I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who are your ancestors. And I have seen the cry, I've seen the problems that my people are facing in Egypt, and I've heard their cry, and I've remembered the the agreement that I made with Abraham. And so I want you to go and deliver them from Egypt. And Moses refused. Now we are in the call of Moses. This is the call of Moses. He was on Mount Sinai with the animals of his father-in-law. Then he saw a burning bush. Then when he moved closer to it, he was called from the middle of the burning bush. And God told him, he identified himself, that I'm the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and I want you to go and deliver my people. And Moses refused. So we ask ourselves, why is Moses refusing? It's because he felt that he was not fit enough. He was not fit enough. He felt that he was not strong enough to carry out God's mission. Then he felt like he was a stammerer. He was refusing. He felt like he was a stammerer. He was a criminal. He had killed the people in Egypt. How could he go and face the king? So he did not know what to go and tell the king and how he could go and face him. So he refused, and God insisted, and God asked him, what do you have? He said, I have a rod. Then he told him, throw the rod down. Moses threw the rod down, and what happened is that the rod turned to become a snake. And Moses started running away. And when he was running away, God told him, no, go and pick that rod, that snake, by its tail. And when Moses touched the tail of the snake, it became a rod again. Then Moses was still not willing to go. God told him, put your hand in your pocket. When he put the hand in the pocket, it became white in color. That is leprosy. It was covered by leprosy. Then God told him, remove the hand, and he told him, put it again into the pocket. Then he put the hand in the pocket, and it became normal again. Then God told him, now you can go, and you are going to meet with your brother, who will become your spokesman. And so Moses set off with the animals to his father-in-law's home, and went and handed over the responsibility, and took his family, his wife and children, and started to go to Egypt, where he went and met with his brother, and he told him the encounter that he had with God. And therefore we want to look, we have seen the reasons why Moses is refusing. We also want to look at the good characters, the characteristics that Moses had. Moses here is very courageous. He is seeing fire burning, a forest that is being on fire, and he wants to move near. This is a man of great courage. Moses also is a man who is very keen. He was able to see that the bush was not burning. So this is keenness. Christians, we need to be keen like that. Moses also, he was very honest with God. I cannot go. He just said, I can't go. That's being honest. This is an honest man. Being honest to himself, I'm a stammerer, I'm a criminal, I cannot. So that is being honest. Moses also showed some other quality here, that he was obedient to God. When God told him to go, he now finally gave in and he went. He was also humble. When he was told to remove his shoes, he fell down, and that is humility. You see, those are some of the qualities that Moses had. Moses was humble, he was obedient, he obeyed even to remove his shoes. He was honest, he was curious, he was keen. These are good qualities that Christians we need to have. And we also have, this is a responsible man. That is another characteristic, that when he was told by God to go back and deliver his people, he was given a higher calling. He did not look down upon the work that his father-in-law had given him. Maybe leave the animals in the field and go. He just took the animals and took them back to his father-in-law. Very responsible. And he told the father-in-law what he had found with God, and he had to leave. He also carried his family with him. Very responsible man, and that was good for him. Then we look at the qualities of God. God here appears to Moses in a burning bush. God is mysterious. This is mystery. How? we don't understand mystery. God is mysterious. Number 2, God is a God of history. He had called Abraham, he had given him promises, he is now fulfilling. God is a God of history. We can also say that God is faithful. He is fulfilling the promises that he had made to Moses. God is everywhere. You see, he's here with Moses on the mountain and he's saying, I have seen my children suffer in in Egypt. So God is everywhere. He's also all-knowing, you see. God is also merciful. He has seen them suffer. He has heard their cry. That is God who is merciful. You see, those are the qualities of God. God is merciful. God is good. God is holy. He is telling Moses to remove his shoes because he's standing on a holy ground. God is mysterious. Those are the good characteristics that we are able to see that are found in this man, Moses. We have seen the signs that Moses was given. He was given the rod, and he was also given his hand as a sign to go and use. And God is also powerful. God is very powerful. God is mysterious. Those are some of the things. How did God prepare Moses for leadership? He made him to be born in the parents who were very keen and careful. So he spared him. He was not killed by the midwives. God also spared his life. He was not killed by the men who were moving around to kill the baby boys. God took care of Moses in the river. He could have been bitten by snakes or he could have drowned. God took care of him. Also, God took care of him that he was able to be brought up by his own mother. He was also taken to the palace where he got the best education and the best care. He was brought up as the son of a king. That is great. Moses was also under God's care in the wilderness. He was not torn apart by animals or desert dwellers. He also led him to go and be taken care of by the Midian priest, who was called this person that we were calling the priest of Midian, who was his father-in-law. And then he made him to learn patience in the desert. He made him to learn the roots and the hard life in the desert. Those are the ways that God was preparing him. He made him to be literate. He made him to learn the secrets of the Egyptian government. He made him to learn leadership skills. He also made him to learn the desert life before he called him. He also appeared to him in the burning bush, and that one was to assure him that he was going to be with him when he gave him the signs. And so that is how God took care of Moses, how he cared for Moses. He was very caring. I hope you can see them from the time Moses is being born. He was not killed by the midwives. He was spared. God spared his life. He was not killed by the men who had been authorized by the king. God took care of him for 3 months in his mother's house. He was not discovered. He was taken care of by God in the river. He did not drown. He was nursed by his own mother, and he went to the palace. He was taken care of as a son of the king. He learned literacy, he learned leadership skills, he learned the secrets of the Egyptian government, you see. Then he had to go to the desert to go and top up the hardship in the desert. He had to learn it. He also had to learn priesthood from the Midian priest who was his father-in-law. He learned all the secrets of priesthood, how he could relate with God, because in Egypt he was not taught on priesthood, how to serve God, how to offer sacrifices, how to pray to God. This one, God had to ensure that he could take him to a training, and the training was in his father-in-law's home where he learned priesthood. Then now when he was ready, God brought him to the desert to come and take care of the animals, to learn the roots, the hardship in the deserts. And when he was fully trained now, God had to appear to him and send him and give him signs. He gave him a rod and he gave him the hand that was to turn into leprosy. And Moses now journeyed to Egypt. So that is the end of our lesson, and I'm thankful. Our next lesson will be about the 10 plagues that were given by God through Moses to the Egyptians. Thank you very much.
Remember to subscribe so that you can get the notification of the lesson as it comes up. We are grateful that you found time to learn with us.